I can see a few people trying to log in, so we'll just give them a few seconds to set themselves up, and we can then immediately get started. I hope you're all well and keeping safe. Right. So I suppose we can get started. If you could just move on to the next slide, please. Right. So I'll be just quickly be introducing Walking Tree for anyone joining us for the very first time. And then we get on with today's agenda. So Walking Tree Technologies is a technology focused company with our core focus on designing and building cross-platform web and mobile applications, perform system integration, and enable digital transformation. We also specialize in data integration, data analytics, migration from legacy to modern systems, cloud migrations, and of course, perform UX design. Now, apart from end-to-end application development, we also provide custom solutions to enterprises for web and mobile, very specific services within the software development lifecycle, UI, UX design, microservices, DevOps, and cloud. Our flexible augmentation services provide clients with on-demand skills and resources to help them meet organizational and business objectives. And lastly, we also help you to implement certain solutions like objective performance assessment. We are also one of the key partners for implementation of Digit, which is an open source platform for urban governance. Fine. So we are back with another round of Flut for Flutter webinars, and again we have two presenters today. Amita has a total experience of almost 2 decades. She is amongst the few Sencha certified trainers in Asia and has been conducting EXTJS training programs offered by Sencha and Walking Tree. Abhilasha has a total experience of 16 years now, and her core strength lies in designing and building complex cross-platform applications using Angular, React, and of course Flutter. Uh, right, so I suppose Amita, you can take it on from here.
Yeah. Hi. Thanks, Pranshu. Hi, everyone. Uh, Last month, we had conducted a webinar on managing state with stateful widgets. So in today's agenda, first of all, we are going to do a quick recap of how to manage state with stateful widgets. We'll see its limitations and what do we need to overcome them. Then we'll come to the provider package. We'll see the basics of the provider package. How does the provider work? Important classes of the provider. This will come with a demo where we have a small application where we have tried to show different aspects of the package. Then the best practices of using provider, advantages of provider package, and finally the question and answer session. So the demo and other topics onwards will be taken by Abhilasha. Moving forward, let's start with what is state. So state is the values of all the variables needed to make up the user interface. It means that all the data that is needed by our application, whether to use it in the user interface or building user interface or for any other purpose, this data together makes up the state. And this data may change over time also. So managing state with stateful widgets, first let's have a look at local state. So if we look at this tree structure, normally at the top, we have a root widget for our application, for example, my app here. Then we have the material app widget, which is a widget that we use if we want material design in our application. And then rest of the widgets that you see, they all are composed to make a user interface. So in this emulator, the screen that you are seeing, it is actually the My Home Page screen, which is composed of all these widgets. Now what we are trying to do in this application is that when user presses this icon here, it should change to the favorite icon, and the text, it should change to the favorite icon. So for this, because this data is, the state is only needed for this icon button. Here we have this icon button, and which is a stateful widget. It is managing its own state. Its state is here, the is favorite variable. This is the state for this widget. And when the button is pressed, is favorite is toggled. Its toggle favorite method is called, which is here. It calls the set state method. The is favorite variable is toggled, and this change in the state, this change in state, it's updating of the state immediately calls the build method of this widget. Because it's a stateful widget, its build method will be called, and this widget will be rebuilt, and we'll see a new icon here, which will be the favorite icon. So this is local state. When state is needed only by a specific widget, then you can handle it inside that. You can make it a stateful widget, and widget itself can handle its own state. Now, suppose this, we want that when this button is clicked, this icon, this text widget here, the movie name should change its style, for example. So in that case, now this is no more local. Whatever is the state of this button, it impacts this text widget here also. So that means whatever is happening here at the icon button, this data is favorite, is needed here so that it can update its style. So how do we handle that? We will have to lift the state up to a common ancestor, for example, movie tile here, which is a common ancestor for both the widgets. So we lift the state up to this widget so that the data is available down the widget tree. So now these two will be stateless, this will be stateful, and now when the state will change, this will update itself, and not only itself, but the whole widget tree. So when its build will be called, this whole widget tree will be rebuilt, and automatically this will also update, and this will also update. So this is lifting the state up when we need state as a global state. Now, let's take another scenario here of a global state. Now, we want that when user presses this icon here, it should change to the favorite icon. This style should change, the color should become little brighter. And apart from that, this tab bar title should also show the number of favorite movies. So now this state is of course global, but now it is not only in this right subtree, it is on the left subtree also, since this widget is here on the left subtree. So we have to now pass this information from here icon button widget to this widget also, and to this widget also. So how do we do that? Again, we'll have to lift the state up to a common ancestor. So we see this is the common ancestor here. So what we do is we make this a stateful widget, which will maintain its state object with all the data that is needed. And so that when this button is pressed, it will, now one more thing, this is maintaining the state. So that means data is here, the handlers are here. So this information, this data, this state will have to be passed down to this icon button, so that even the handler and its favorite variable, both of them, both will have to be passed to this widget, so that it can use this is favorite variable to change its state, plus it can call the toggle handler also, so that the toggle handler can call its set state method, toggle, I mean, make whatever changes are needed, and the moment it will be done, its build method will be called, and this whole widget tree will be rebuilt, and this information will have to pass to this widget also, and to this widget also, so that they can also update themselves. So this will build the whole widget tree, And this information will be passed through constructors to both these widgets so that they can use the updated information. Now the problem with this is a very small scenario, very simple use case, where the information that we are passing from here, it will come through constructor, it will come to this widget. This will pass it to through its constructor to this widget, and this one will pass to this widget. So that means information is moving down 3 levels here. Similarly, this data for passing it to this widget has to come to the container and to this through constructor. Similarly, for this one also, this will will call its constructor, pass the state to this widget, this one will pass to this one will pass to this. So the problem here, two things here. One, through constructors, we are passing the information down to so many levels. Second, these don't even need that information. Still, through their constructors, we are passing to this level. That is one thing. Another thing is when this widget will be rebuilt, this whole subtree will be rebuilt. These don't need a rebuild. This one doesn't need a rebuild. This doesn't need a rebuild, but unnecessarily the whole widget tree is getting rebuilt. So that's the problem with this approach. For small applications, this is okay. We can go for stateful widgets. But as our application gets complex, this approach can, cause certain problems. So let's see what are the limitations of this approach and what do we need to overcome them. So first of all, too much of boilerplate code. We have to write the constructors, we have to pass data along with the callbacks down to the children. Traversing multiple levels down, passing data and callbacks can get complex very soon. We may lose track of it and it can get very complex. And too many unnecessary rebuilds in between, which unnecessarily the in between widgets will also get rebuilt. So what do we need? We have a need for the widgets to subscribe to the state and listen to the changes. There should be a way by which widgets can subscribe to the state and listen to the changes. When state changes, then the widget listening to the state should be notified. So only the listening widgets should get the changes and rebuild themselves. Others should not be impacted. So this is something that we want to overcome those limitations. So we will have to go for some state management solution, and here we are today going to discuss the provider package. So what is a provider package? The Flutter framework gives us a special kind of widget called the inherited widget. Along with it, it gives us the inherited widget model also and inherited change notifier also. So we have that whole setup is there which we can use, but it is bit low level and lots of boilerplate code we'll have to write when we work with this inherited widget. So this provider package is a wrapper around inherited widget and it makes its use simple and easy. So we don't have to write too much of code. As we'll proceed, you'll see that it is such a simple way of managing states in our application. Very simple and easy syntaxes. We'll see that. So we can think of provider as a convenient tool for. It does two things. One, it passes state down the widget tree without the use of passing it through constructors. We won't be passing through constructors now. It has a mechanism by which the state will be passed down to the widget tree, whoever needs that data. Second, when there will be a change in state, automatically all the listeners will be notified. So whoever has subscribed to it. So whichever widget has subscribed to it, it will be notified. And once it is notified, it can rebuild itself for updates. Okay. So this provider package exposes data down the widget tree. Then whichever widget has subscribed to the provider will be notified. And when they are notified, they will be rebuilt so that they can be updated with the state, whatever is the updated data. So here in this diagram, this value means the data, whatever it is, it will be provided down the widget tree. And on state change, so these consumers, these are the widgets who have subscribed to that provider. All the widgets can have access to the data, but only the ones who have subscribed to it, they can consume that information, and on state change, they will be notified and they will be rebuilt. And we'll see the updated information in these widgets. So now here we take that same example which we had seen before, which we have seen before. Now that was with stateful widgets. How do we implement with a provider? First of all, we must not get confused. Provider is the name of the package. It's the name of the package, but it gives us different types of providers. And like, for example, provider, chain notifier provider, proxy provider, stream provider, future provider. We have different types of providers, and each one has a different purpose. They are used for different use cases. So provider is a type of provider also. Okay, so it's a name of the package, but we have one type of provider by the name provider. It's a very simple, basic provider. So when we want to use the provider in our application for managing state, first of all, what we'll do is we will wrap the ancestor widget with the provider widget, whichever we are using. So for example, here we will use change notifier provider. So let's say this was our ancestor widget, which we saw in the previous slide. So this widget we'll wrap with the change notifier provider, for example. Okay, this is the first thing we do. Second thing, no need of stateful widgets now. All these widgets are stateless, okay, which makes the code more efficient because we are using now memoryless stateless widgets. So all these are stateless now. So we wrap it, the ancestor, common ancestor with the provider, chain notifier provider here. It will do two things. One, it will expose the data. So all these child widgets in the tree hierarchy, they will have access to that data. They can use that data. Okay, so here these movie screen, container, this one and movie tiles, they don't need that data. So they have not subscribed to the provider. Only, this one needed it. So these two only have subscribed to the provider widget. So though the data is available down the widget tree, but since only these two have subscribed to it, they will be consuming that data. So the provider widget exposes the data. Second, the change notifier provider, it also notifies the listener. So when there will be a change in state, this favorite is changed. Okay, so when this button is clicked, it is the producer now. It is producing the state. So this one also has access to all this data, right? So when this button will be clicked, it has this is favorite here directly, no need of passing through constructors. It will update it, call the toggle favorite method, update it. So it is producing the state, means it is the producer, it is updating the state. So when it will update the state, automatically these listeners who have subscribed to it, they will be notified. Okay, so they have registered themselves for updates, they have subscribed, and so when there is a change, they will update, their build method will be called and they will be rebuilt. Only the widgets that have subscribed will be rebuilt, not the whole widget tree. That's the beauty of it. So they get rebuilt with the new updated information, and so we'll see whatever change we wanted, that will be visible on the screen in this UI. So this is how a provider works. So here we have eliminated few things. One, we are not using stateful widgets now. It's not that you cannot use stateful widgets. For example, if there is some widget where data state is needed locally only, so along with the provider package, you can use stateful widgets when state has to be managed locally in one of the widgets. So we can do that. Okay? But here, since it was not needed, all these widgets are stateless. One. Second thing, no need of passing information through constructors down the hierarchy. So these things we have eliminated. Thirdly, they all will be notified and they will be rebuilt. Only those widgets, consumers, and so the whole widget tree is also not rebuilt. So these are the benefits over managing state with stateful widgets. So let's have a look quickly at the important classes of the provider. So how do we implement the provider? First of all, we will have to make a model class. Simple Dart class where we will define the our data. For example, let's say for this movie app, we wanted to have a movie ID, the movie name, the poster URL. We wanted these fields. So these fields we will define inside our it's a simple Dart class where we will define our fields, our data. So we'll define a model class first. Then second thing we have to do is we will define another class which will extend the change notifier class. So this change notifier class, this is from the foundation.dart library. This is not from the provider package. It is from this foundation.dart. So this class it's a normal simple Dart class which will extend change notifier class. You can extend or you can use it as a mix and match. So now what will it do? It is actually which holds our data. So it will create these model instances here. Whatever data is needed, those model instances will be created. So it will hold the data, the state, and it will also have other business logic that is needed, the methods to modify the state, for example, get movies, which will return the movies, the instances, the data that is here, update movies, for example, for updating any movie or add movie, whatever, business logic that we have or whatever get and set methods that we need for modifying this state, they all will go in this class. Now, when we extend this class from this change notifier class, we get a method called notify listeners. So this is the one that does all the magic. So let's say we call add movie. Add movie method is called from outside and movie is passed. And to that list of movies, this new movie is added. So because there is a change in the state, we will inside this method call the notify listeners method so that all the consumers are notified. Okay, so this is happening from here. All the consumers will be notified. Now on the ancestor widget parent, we will wrap that widget with this change notifier provider widget. So this will expose this data here. Whatever data is here, this will be exposed down to the tree hierarchy. Whoever is interested in that data will consume that data, and they will also be rebuilt on state change, right? So they can consume data either by provider.off context method, or they can consume data with the consumer widget. So this is also a widget. So both have different use cases. In the demo, Abhilasha will explain them to you. So these are the important classes: change notifier, this one, which gives us the notify listeners, which notifies all the widgets that have subscribed to it. Change notifier provider, this is also a widget given by the provider package with which we will wrap, and so that it can expose data down the hierarchy. All the listeners will be notified. They can consume that exposed data and they can rebuild themselves. And to consume, we have, apart from, we have other methods also, but commonly used are provider.off and the consumer. So I will stop here, and Abhilasha will show the demo and these were just the basics of provider fundamentals. We'll go into more details now. Abhilasha will continue. So Abhilasha, I'll make you the presentation. Anshu, I can't see Abhilasha. Thank you.
In the panelists,
Abhilasha, you are the host. No?
yeah, thank you, Amita. Yeah, so now we look at the different, some of the important like syntaxes of using whatever we discussed so far. So we start with uh, the provider class here. So basically provider is a basic form of the provider package, and this just gives us the capability to handle a value and expose it. So this is used in scenarios where we don't want to use the stateful widget. In a stateless widget itself, we can define a part of the data as using this provider, and we can consume it, and finally also dispose it. So this is something like whatever you would do in a normal stateful widget, what you will do in your init state. So that you are doing using the provider package here. So it is like the model, what you're trying to expose the data. So you will use provider of the data type, the model here, and then create passing the context and giving the calling the constructor of the class. So this will create an instance of the class or the data to be provided, and then it can be consumed here in the child. And also you can add a dispose method to dispose the value finally when it is not in use. So this is like the most simplest use of provider, and it is only created once. So it's just like in its state, what is called once, but you cannot like notify changes here. So that's the reason you cannot actually use it for the complex or the more detailed use of the provider. So for that we have the other provider packages. So other methods in the provider package. So change notifier method. So this is actually, it's like a mixin using which you can extend your data model, and you can add the capability of being available in the widget tree. So this is actually like the same thing which you get from the inherited widget. So it is, you're trying to extend. So you will define your class which will have all the data which you want to share and any methods which you want to share in your widget tree, and that will be extended. So you will use extends of change notifier, and this change notifier is actually a part of the Flutter Foundation library itself. Using this, you are like exposing this data to be available. Now, so this is the first step of using the provider to make the data available. So you're defining the data and the methods which will represent the state which will be available for your entire widget tree. Also, if you're making any changes in the data and you want to notify the changes, that is where you will use the notify listeners method. So like in methods, like if you're updating the data, so in order for the data changes to be percolated to all the widgets in the tree which are listening to the changes, you have to call this notify listeners explicitly. So this will result in the listeners to get rebuilt, and they will get the updated value and they'll update themselves. The next step is like once you have like defined your provider class, now you have to create or expose an instance of the provider class to be able to like to be available for your widget tree. So for that you use the change notifier provider. So change notifier provider is a way where you're defining your instance and you're exposing it to the listeners in the tree. So here you're creating an instance. So this is where you are actually, so the syntax would be change notifier provider, and then in the generic, you will give the type of data which you're trying to create here. So this is the provider class which you created in the first step, the previous step. And that then you are creating it, and then by calling the constructor. So this is like one of the syntaxes, and there is another syntax also here. So suppose if you have already created the change notifier instance, if you have some initialization related work to do, so this is another way of using it, where you could initialize your change notifier, and then later on you can just access the value of this instance by using change notifier provider dot value. So in this case, like this is advisable to you so that you're not creating a new instance again, because create will always create a new instance. So these are the two ways you can use the change notifier provider, and you can make the create the instance of the provider class which will be available for your widget tree. So whenever there is whenever there is a notify changes which is getting called, so the builder method will get the instance of this, and then it will update the particular it will rebuild the particular widget tree which is listening to this changes. So now, like first we saw that we have defined our provider class, then we have created an instance using the change notifier provider. Now the next step is to consume the data, for which we will be using, like there are two most commonly used ways. So the first one is using the provider of method. So basically whenever we call the provider of, so we will give the type of data. Again, here we have to specify because there can be multiple types of providers. So we would specify which type of provider we want to consume. And then, so whenever we refer to this, it will start looking up in the widget tree for the instance which is available. So wherever that change notifier provider has created an instance in the widget tree, it will get that instance and then it will return the value. So this can be used to consume the data. So now once you have this instance, so using this, you can consume the data, you can invoke the methods, which can in turn again update the state, and you're able to produce the changes also, as we saw in the earlier diagram. So, so this is the syntax how you can use the provider of, and there is another additional way of giving us specific parameter as listen false. So what this will do is this will avoid the rebuilding of your tree if you just want to get the value once and you're not interested in listening to the changes of the data. In that case, you can use this option of listen false. So this is in a way you're able to avoid any unnecessary rebuild when you know that your whatever value you're using, that is not dependent on the changes. So why do I have to listen to it multiple times? I can just consume it once. The second approach of consuming data using the consumer widget. So here when you whenever you're calling the notify listeners in your provider model or your provider class, there it will always percolate the changes. So wherever it is being consumed. So in the consumer widget also, so this can be a part of the a big widget tree where at one point you would be consuming the data, and then there you would so this consumer, and then again you have to specify the type of data which you are trying to consume here, and then this will take the value. So again it will pick the value from your change notifier provider which you have created on the top of your widget tree, and it will pass that value into the builder. So the builder here takes three parameters: the context, which is the current context. The second value is the actual value which is getting passed into it from the provider. So this, I mean, whatever you name it, using this, you can actually access all that variables and all the methods which are exposed in your provider method. Sorry, your provider class. And the third parameter here, the child. So this basically is for a part of the widget tree which is not dependent on this value. So you could actually exclude it by defining it separately and then passing it as a parameter here, so that what this is like something which is a child of this widget structure. So you in a normal scenario, whenever this will rebuild, so this will also rebuild, but you want to opt out of that because you know that this part of the data is not dependent on this change. So then you can use this and you can specify that part of the tree which you don't want to rebuild. So that will avoid the rebuilding, and it will just use the data and rebuild the part which is within the builder, which is consuming the value from the provider. So anytime the notify listeners is getting called, that means the value changed, and that value is getting consumed here and it is getting rebuilt. So that this is how you can consume it. So we will see this example in the demo. But before that, we'll just look at this. This is another method, another class which is part of the provider package. And this is actually, it's like it is a good way of writing, you can say, or avoids more of boilerplate code. So in real projects, when you have multiple providers, and if you end up using change notify provider, so you will have to loop it multiple times, because in a change notify provider, you can only give the type once. You cannot give multiple types here. So then in this child, again, you will have to create the instance of the second provider and so on. So in order to avoid this looping and this bulky code, this multi-provider has been provided. So this class will actually take the providers as an array, wherein you can give as many providers as is required by your app. In your widget tree, you can define all, and then you can consume it within the direct child or within any level of child in the widget tree. So if we look at the, now let's go on to the demo. So basically, this is the same app which Amita had explained. So we will look at the app code here. So the structure of the any Flutter project, we would define a proper like folder structure in order to organize the files in a proper way. So we have the model folder wherein we would define all the models. So basically model is required to define your data structure. So if it's only a string or a number variable, then you don't need the model. But then in a real project scenario, you would always have like bigger objects which will have multiple values or multiple placeholders. So in that case, you can define a class with the different elements of the class. So these are the different values which will comprise of the movie. So the movie ID, movie name, whether it is a favorite or not, and the poster URL. So this is like a simple model which has these 4 elements in it. And then if we have any methods at the model level also, we can define. So here we know that like if we want to change the favorite, so it will always be like a true or a false. So we are defining the method at this level to toggle the is favorite flag whenever we call this method. So it's like since this is very specific to the model, we are putting it at the model level. Now this has defined the structure of the model. Now the next thing we want this data. So this is like just the class. Now we want instance of this class to be available for our widget. So that we would define in our provider. So we will have another folder for the providers wherein we would define our provider structure. So in providers, we would define by using the change notifier. So as we saw, this change notifier, which is a part of the foundation package, we extend this. So this by extending this becomes available for our entire widget tree. And then if we have to fetch the data from any REST API calls or any other logic which we want to perform on this data, we would put it inside the provider so that it is available for my whichever widget component or widget tree element is trying to access this data or is trying to access any method, so it can use it through the provider. And also, like, we are segregating the business logic from the UI. So we have, if you want to get the list of movies, so we have a get method for movies to expose the private variable movies. And then we have to get the movie count. Then we have a method to update the favorite. So since this is like a simple app, we are only performing one operation, which is we are updating its favorite status. So for that, we have this update favorite method, which is like calling the toggle favorite method on our model. And then once this changes, we want to notify. So this is very important that we notify listeners in order for whatever, whichever components of the widget tree are listening to the changes, they will get the changes. So they'll be notified. And then again, we have another get to get the list of favorite movies, get the count of favorites. So all the logic related to the movies is put inside this and exposed through the by using this chain notifier. So if you have more providers, you will put all the providers inside your provider folder. Then your screens would have the screens which you are using for your app. And util folder we generally use, like if there is any reusable library or reusable component which we want to use across your project. So in this case, we have defined a theme for the app so that we get proper colors and like nice fonts. So for that, we are using this theme. And finally, if you want any widgets to be reused across your application, you can define a widget folder and have all the widgets under this. So this is the folder structure we normally use in a real project to segregate and classify our like folders and files properly. Now, if we start with our current example, so in our main.dart, now that we have defined our provider, we want to create an instance. So like if we know that our data is getting consumed at multiple places, so it is a good way to define it at the top level so that it is available for the entire tree structure. So that's the reason. So here we are using the change notifier provider to create an instance of the data by using the create syntax, because we are creating it for the first time by calling the constructor of the movies provider. So movies is like imported from the movie provider file which we created under the provider package. The provider folder. And also, since we have to use the change notifier provider, so this is a part of the standard provider package. So we have to import this also. So, so this will ensure that instance is created and available. And then now within our structure of our app, so we have the home page, which is the my home page. So this is the component which we have defined here. So my home page is another stateless widget, which is having a scaffold, and we have a drawer which has some navigation, and the main body, which is the movie list view screen. Now, since we have like one more screen, so we have defined a route here, which is just to show the favorite movies list, whatever we mark. So for that, we have defined a route for that. And this is the screen for rendering the favorite movie screen. So now if we come to the movie list view, so this is our first widget screen which will get rendered. So if you go to the movie list view, so here we will see that we are trying to consume the movies because we want to show the list of movies. So to consume, now we are using the provider of method, and then we have to give the type of data which we want to consume. So as we give this, so it will start looking for a instance of this movies. So obviously it doesn't find it here. So it will go up the structure. So it will come here. It doesn't find here. And finally it will come here and will get this instance, and this will be available into this variable. So now using this variable, I can access all the methods and the properties which are defined in my provider and which are exposed. So not the private variables which are exposed. So now I'm using the movie count here to build my list here. And also I'm using the item builder. So so just to showcase, like we are having another level of widget here, which is the movie tile. So which is actually displaying this tile. So each tile which you see here, so that is coming from the movie tile. Now in the movie tile, we are just passing the index. So indexes, like for this list of movies, we want to show like which specific record. So now using this index, we will actually render the movie data. So if we come to the movie tile, so movie tile has been defined as a widget because it is a part of the screen. So this widget, now this widget is again, it needs the movie data. So now here we are using the consumer. So using the consumer widget, we are getting like the movie instance. So again it will start looking for the instance of the movies, and it will find it at the main.dart level, and it will use that value. So that will get passed into my second variable here. So first is the context, as we saw. The second is the movies variable, and the third is the child here. So yeah, we'll see the child. So now using movies, I'm able to get the value for my movie, and then I'm able to render the details. So the movie name and the is favorite status. So based on the status, we are showing whether it is a filled favorite or only the border. So in the app, if you see, if I click on this, so this is now a favorite. So the color is changing, the like the highlight or the brightness of this widget is also changing. So all this is getting percolated after we are changing. So what is happening is, as soon as I click this, it is actually calling this on pressed. So it is calling. So here again, we are using the provider of to get an handle of the movies, and then we are calling the update favorite. So this was the method we saw, which we are using to change the status of the favorite, whether it is a favorite or not for this particular movie. So as we are calling this, it is updating, and then the status, like it is updating, and then it is notifying listeners. So we are able to, so if you see here, the status is toggled, and then the notify listeners is called, so that wherever we are using, so this is at one place we are using, so it is getting immediately it's reflecting the change, and we are able to see the it is as marked as a favorite. Now if we look at the other option, so here in the drawer also we are showing the favorite count here. So as I click this, so the favorite count is updating here also, but I don't have to worry about passing the state from there to here, because the state is at one place, which is the provider. So automatically, since my drawer, so if you see the drawer code here, so my drawer is also listening to the same provider. So if you look at the drawer, so this is like the list, and here we are showing the favorite count. Yeah, so this is the favorite count which we are showing. So here again, we are consuming this data using the consumer, and then using this variable, we are able to access the favorite count, and we are able to show it here. So we don't have to worry like where, how the state is getting. Wherever I need, I can just include the consumer, and I can consume it, get a handle of it, and then get the value. And also whenever that value changes, so this builder will get rebuilt, and I'll get the latest value. So that is how like it is happening very seamlessly. Now if we go to the provider screen, so here also we are using the data, the same data, the movies data, we are showing the provider, the favorite movie. So again, the favorite screen, if you see, so this is again consuming that same data, but using the provider of. So you're getting the movies, and then you're displaying the data here for the favorite movies. So I'm getting the data, and then I'm displaying it using the favorite movies variable here, the property which is part of the same provider class. So this is how I'm able to use it across within my different screens by having the logic at one place. So my favorite count, my favorite list, and my update favorite, everything is here, and I'm using it as I need to. Also now, if I have multiple providers, so I have just created another provider just to show this multiple providers scenario. So this is a books list, which is the same as the movie list. So each of the movie has a corresponding book and the ID is same. So using the ID, we will fetch the corresponding book. So we have this get book details method in our book provider, which is actually returning the book wherever the book ID is same. So I'm passing the movie ID and I'm comparing and I'm returning that book model. So now I want to use this somewhere in my tree. So I want to use it in my favorite movies list. So this screen itself, here I want to show the list of, the name of the book also, the corresponding book. So for that, I will like make a small change here. So I can, I want to consume the provider, the books provider also here. So I would, I can do this. So I'm consuming it as like, so it is giving me an error because the books has not been included in the list of available like instances which we created. So unless and until it is defined here, it will not be available for consumption. So that's the reason we need to make it, create the instance here. So for that, we will use the multi-provider. So why am I getting this error?
Import. Import is missing.
Oh, okay. Sorry, yeah. So the book provider needs to be imported here because this is a new provider. So now in the providers, we are giving multiple. So we have the books also and we have the movies also. So now this is available in my favorite movies for consumption. So now if I reload it, so it should show me the, so if I like mark this as my favorite now, and if I go to the favorites, so now it is showing the book details also, so that it is able to consume it from a different provider and show it in the same. So I am able to use it here itself. Also, so if I want to use the child, so maybe I can show you this. So basically, I just wanted to show the child, the third parameter here for the consumer. So in this case, if suppose if this text part is something which need not be rebuilt whenever the value of the book or the value of the favorite movies is changing. So I can put this as the fixed part, define it as the child, and then pass it as the third parameter of my consumer widget. So it will make sure that whenever there is a change in my books and the builder is rebuilding this part, this child part will not be rebuilt. So that will remain as a constant part of the widget. So of course, this is a very small example, but then in a real project where you have huge widget trees, you can actually segregate and make use of it to avoid unnecessary rebuilding of parts of the widget tree, which are expensive. So, yeah, this is how we can use the provider to seamlessly handle state at the top level and use it at any level in our application. So now coming back to our presentation. So yeah, when we are using providers, there are some best practices which we should keep in mind. So just a quick recap of those. So whenever we are providing using the chain notifier, it is advisable to provide at the needed level only. So it's not like always provide everything at the top level. because you're unnecessarily loading the top level. If the data is really not being used across the widget tree, then you can provide it at the level where it is getting used. Provider off when you're using, so it has a very good option of listen false. So use it wisely, so that when, if you know that you want to consume the data only once, if it is like a method call which you're doing, which is not going to change, so make use of listen option and avoid the rebuilding. When you're using the consumer widget also, so since like it gives you the flexibility that you can actually consume at a very specific level. So when you're using a provider of like where, I mean, the entire widget tree will get rebuilt, because you will like take the instance and then you will use it in the widget tree. So whenever the value is changing, that entire widget tree will get rebuilt. But with consumer widget, you have the flexibility that you're actually going to a specific level of your tree, and then you're introducing the consumer widget, so that only that part gets rebuilt. And additionally, you can use the child option. So within your consumer widget tree, also, like if there's a child which need not get rebuilt, then you can use the child third parameter and avoid it from being rebuilt. Finally, the change notifier provider. So when you're using this also, you have to be like conversant of the fact that if you're creating it for the first time, use the create option. If you've already created it, then use the value option, so that you don't create unnecessary instances and you use the same instance. So these are some of the best practices which you should keep in mind when you're using providers, and your state management will be very seamless. Finally, looking at the advantages of the provider package and summarizing this. So with provider, you have a very simplified allocation and disposal of the resources, because you don't have to explicitly dispose. Provider package itself takes care of that disposal also. Secondly, lazy loading. So this is another very optimized concept, wherein if you are like creating an instance of your provider at your using your change notify provider, so that instance will not get created until and unless you're consuming it finally. So at the point of consumption only the instance gets created. So it's actually like avoiding that extra load and doing it just when you need it. Finally, of course, you have reduced the boilerplate when comparison to the inherited widget. So it makes it easier to use. Also, it is DevTools friendly. So if you're using your Dart DevTools, the provider widget will come in your widget tree, and it will be very easy to debug also, because it gives you the complete structure of your state management tree also. And this is a common way of handling your state and consuming your inherited widgets. Finally, it is also giving you increased scalability, because you're able to define your provider at one level and consume it at any level in your widget tree. So there is no restriction. You need not pass your data across the widget tree. You can tag to your provider using the consumer or your provider of, and consume it at any level inside your widget tree. So that's how it makes it very easy to use, and the state management in Flutter becomes very easy. And that's why Google recommends the use of provider package for state management in Flutter. So there are other ways also, but yeah, this is the easiest and recommended way. So with that, we come to the end of this webinar. So we can take the questions now.
Yes, thank you, Abhilasha, and thank you, Amita. If we have any questions, please put them in the Q&A box, and we have some time to respond to some of your questions. I hope you all had access to Abhilasha's blog on the same topic. If not, we'll be sending you the URL along with the recording of this webinar. I suppose we do not have any questions right now, so that will be all for today. Thank you everyone for joining us. Okay, finally we do have a question from Surya Prakash. Did provider using stateful widget internally? does provider?
So internally it uses inherited widget, which does this because with stateful widget you cannot make the state available across the widgetry. You have to do it uh, manually, passing the data through the widgetry. With Flutter you have this inherited widget, which actually gives you that capability of defining it at the top level and consuming it at any level. So provider uses inherited widget internally.
Is added to the question like dispose how it's accessing.
So yeah.
Will be disposed of?
So basically it internally only takes care of disposing also. So we really don't have to worry about disposing. So we can just use these provider methods, and internally Flutter takes care of the disposing part also.
Okay, we also have Abhi who in the chat section is asking, I have a provider call user details. When the user got subscribed, I need to update the premium FALG. On this case, what we need to do? Are you able to see this in chat?
Yeah, Pranchu. So basically you have a provider user details, and once the user gets subscribed, so on that action, you will have to call a method. So that method should be defined at your provider like class level, which you would extend your change notifier. And in that you should have a update premium flag. And so that will do the update part. And wherever you want to call it, so at that point, you can like do a provider of user details and dot update flag. And then if there are any parameters, you can pass. So it's like a normal method call, but then you don't, I mean, you can just define the method at the provider level and consume it wherever you want to, wherever like, so you're saying once the user gets subscribed. So maybe there's some action on the screen, some widget where you're doing that. So at that point, you should call the update function using the provider of method. So then you can handle it.
Right. So I suppose this is it for today. Thank you everyone for joining us. We'll be back again uh, with more sessions on web Flutter. So hope you all join us for those as well. And like I've mentioned, I'll be sharing the recording of this webinar along with the relevant blogs with you all. Thank you once again, and thank you, Abhilasha. Thank you, Amita.
Thank you.
Thank you.